one of my pals right there.
No! God, please, no!
For God's sake, oh, he's gone over!
Just weeks ago, Palworld was skeptically being looked at as Pokemon with guns, but it turns out we were all wrong. It's actually Pokemon with guns, but maybe actually good? So now it's released into early access on PC and Xbox, and it's shown huge potential, with some players already claiming it to be Game of the Year in January, which is technically illegal. Well, technically it's not technically illegal, but technically it should be. So I'm Nathan for the Future Game Show, and here are some of the wildest things Palworld and its players have achieved just a few weeks on from release. With over 8 million copies sold in less than 6 days, there's no doubt that this early access game is making waves. It's taken the number 2 spot behind PUBG for most concurrent players for a Steam game ever, and who knows how many more people have been jumping on it on Xbox, where, of course, it's available via Game Pass. To put those numbers into perspective though, it's got a long way to go before it starts knocking on Pokemon's door, with Game Rant reporting that the last entry in the series sold over 23 million units. But I'd like to think out there, somewhere, is a panicked Game Freak executive currently photoshopping a Kalashnikov onto a picture of Jigglypuff. Oh, beautiful. But 5 million copies is really nothing to be sniffed at, and it does put it in the same ballpark as Valheim, Arma 3 and Guild Wars 2, with less than a week of sales under its belt. So who knows how far up the ladder it could climb between now and its 1.0 release. When a game launches on PC, it's only a matter of time before mods come along to make the whole experience more interesting, and by interesting I of course mean legally troublesome. Just days after the early access release of Palworld, there were already mods flying around that allowed players to improve the game's performance, graphical fidelity, or even just turn the HUD off and on. But without a doubt, the most litigiously questionable and equally inevitable mod was showcased by Toasted Shoes. Because let's face it, when everyone starts calling your game Pokemon with guns, but you can't legally make Pokemon with guns, then you just have to wait roughly 72 hours for your loyal fanbase to turn your Pokemon with guns game into a very real, actual Pokemon with guns game. Rip-off, parody or lawsuit, whichever side of the triangular fence you find yourself sitting on, one of the Pokemon company's former lawyers is surprised it even got to release, saying, "This looks like the usual rip-off nonsense that I would see 1,000 times a year when I was Chief Legal Officer of Pokemon. I'm just surprised it got this far." Toasted Shoes' teaser video that he posted on X was DMCA'd and taken down by Nintendo less than 24 hours after he posted it, but it doesn't seem like Nintendo is very worried about the vanilla Palworld game. For now, that is. Number 4. Bug reporting is overwhelming. The Palworld team have reported that they've had over 50,000 inquiries and that they're working on everything from fixing multiplayer servers not working to players losing save data. I guess it's a risk you take when you spend money on any unfinished product. Right now though, regardless of the expected and prevalent jank, most players seem to be having a surprisingly stable and enjoyable time with Palworld, and after the commercial success of the launch of the game, the hope is that the dev team can then scale up and work to stabilise things quicker than initially expected. Number 5. Open world game equals open world jank. While many of the technical issues can be attributed to the early access launch, some glitches have become almost expected in open world games, and they are abundant in Palworld. If Grand Theft Auto or Skyrim have taught us anything, it's that you can't make an open world game without an exploit that allows you to take a trip to the moon quicker than Neil Armstrong on Fast Forward. I love that joke. Okay, that's a proper Christmas cracker number. The development team have been putting out hotfixes almost every day since launch, so many of these exploits could have been well and truly fixed by the time you're watching this, but the team do seem more focused on the game just being fun, more so than polished, so who knows, perhaps this open world jank will continue well beyond the 1.0 launch. If you want to see more ridiculous clips like this, then check out the hashtag PalClips on X or the Palworld subreddit. Number 6. Moving faster than the Flash. Why bother building saddles and riding pals around the map? That's inefficient use of the workforce right there. Instead, why not move round powered by nothing more than your blue farts?
Ah, gross!
To pull this move off, all you have to do is firstly make sure you have a glider equipped, then start sprinting down a hill. Hold crouch to go into a slide, you'll start to pick up speed absurdly fast. Then when your eyes start to water from breaking the speed barrier, double tap jump to start gliding, and you're off. This may well have been patched out by the time you're watching this video, but the dev team were also seen promoting this method of travel on their TikTok page, so perhaps it's a feature, not a bug. Number 7, finding out the hard way that wood is flammable. As many people have already pointed out, creature design aside, Palworld really has more in common with survival games like Ark and Valheim more than it does so Pokemon, and so many players will find themselves pouring far more hours into interior design instead of maintaining the mental health of their assault rifle production line. Just be sure to invest in stone buildings early on, or find out the hard way that your glorious wooden home and fire type pals don't really play well together. Number 8, enslaving the local wildlife. And finally, we obviously can't conclude this video without talking about the elephant in the room, or should I say the mama rest in the hot tub. The core gameplay loop that involves capturing, befriending, and ultimately enslaving as many pals as you possibly can, so you can sit back and cosplay the warlord you always dreamed of being. And don't even get me started on capturing people as well as pals. Yeah, the game tells you it's inhumane to capture people in pal spheres, but it doesn't stop you from doing it. In fact, there's even a trader in the game that deals in illegal pals, aka people, and will pay pretty decent money for them.
For $562. No, I'm keeping him. He's mine.
Are we surprised that this is where we've ended up though? Gamers have been crying out for years for experiences that give you limitless options and agency, and this is where it ends up. A game that lets you not only own magical creatures but also enslave them, and if the notion takes you, eat them. Yeah, I don't know about video games anymore, guys. I might try to get into gardening or something.
What do you mean? I built you a hot springs right now. What do you mean you're feeling down because of bad working conditions? Get the butcher knife out, don't tolerate complaining.
So there you go, a bit more information about the viral hit Palworld. Who knows where it'll go next. It'll be fascinating to see. Please do consider subscribing to the FGS channel, it really helps us and there's some great stuff on there. Sadly though, I have to wrap this up very quickly because that's Nintendo at my door now. They found out that I've got Palworld on my hard drive and they've come to arrest me. Oh, okay, folks, look, I'll come easy, okay, look, I have a Wii U. I had a Wii U in launch year. I'm one of the good guys.